Welcome to the Breakfast Show, and it's great to be back after a week break from the Raya. And I think some of those of you who have followed us in Facebook would have known that I've been to a short holiday, and I did share some of very nice photos and also very good quote that some of you may want to ponder upon during this long break and really reflect back on what are things you can do to help to improve yourself as well as develop you to be a better trader and investor. Of course, the market continue to shake off from the big sell-off that we have on the Dow Jones, where the announcement of the 50 basis point by US FOMC Chairman Jerome Powell that has really spoke the market, and yet the inflation continued to be higher, hitting 3%, and everybody is thinking about where is this going to lead to? Will this lead to more recession? In Trade VSA, we don't think that this is leading to recession, but definitely today's topic is about learning how to sell. Now remember, overall the market is still down pretty much from the beginning of the year, but the overall economics are still intact. As I said before in here, market tend to move ahead of many of the circumstances that you see in here, but I do believe the fundamentals are still strong, the job numbers are right. But remember, anything of this kind of shakeout in a medium term, it does represent area to buy, but our focus today is learn to sell. Now let's take a look at what we have for you this morning in our topic in here. What we're going to share today in here is about learning how to sell. Now from a perspective of a beginner, and today we are talking about beginner, we assume you are a beginner in here, learning how to sell and learn to sell on red Pentagon or selling on resistance. And also we want to include also on sign of weakness, which is the confirmed sign of weakness when we see 1 bar or 2 bar after the SoW uptrust. Now right now the market is undergoing a lot of market volatility that we've seen in here. All is actually red Pentagon, and we have seen from the alert center of our 360 in here. And let me just show you 360. You can see on top here, it's everything, it's all kind of red, and this, we have been seeing this really everything has been red. And the last time you only see one is immature, which is I believe this is a furniture, if not consumer product, just turned green Pentagon, and everything else has really turned. Even we have Inari turned red Pentagon, which early on it did turn green Pentagon, but turned back to red because of the uncertainty of the market as well as the race of the inflation, which really going out of control in here. Many has been said, and we're turning our attention to the interest rate and how inflation is likely to be fair. So this will likely to continue as we've seen the Russian-Ukraine war go into the second stage. We have to wait for time to absorb all this. No doubt the S&P 500 wicks or the US Dow Jones wicks has also sprung up to above 30, that which does tell you a lot of volatility coming in here. So everything is being red, so that is a tall tale sign of why this market is really need to learning how to sell. Now let's take a look at the Pentagon Guider. We've seen before in here, the focus that we are showing in here is the sign of weakness, no demand, sell-off and uptrust. Okay, and this is some of what has been taught by the father of VSA, by Tom Williams in here, looking at the sell-off and uptrust in. Now also we did sell we have to close off one of our trade too, which is the SoW, which also undergoing huge selling due to last Friday in here. We have to cut loss on that one. We still remain of 2 trades in here. LB Aluminium is undergoing a bit of pressure, as well as also down 3% today, and Sim Life, which is a property sector, it's holding up. Now that's why it's important that we say time and time again, it's important for you to sort of diversify different sector. Now if you were to just focus on one sector, just imagine this trade that I have here, and you only have 3 stocks in the same sector, then you'll be in great danger. The whole point is able to diversify out and really even out all the volatility that you've seen in the market, and that's what we hope the reader can do in here. But let's take a look at what we have on this market this morning. Okay, and this is still as I can say before, what we have right now is pretty interesting. We have the one resistance, second, and this is the third resistance that it could not break out, and also the continued saga of server dynamics, which also pans out to the level of involvement of the jurisdiction into the whole capital market. As I said before, anytime when the politics goes into the capital market, that's not to be good. So this is likely to pan out in our market, and that's why we are seeing this market continue to move sideways and also hitting the ATR stop loss. This morning is holding up this level in here, but last Friday and last Thursday sell-off was the severe one, and we are still in red Pentagon. As I said before, if you are a beginner, do not trade when there is a red Pentagon. And no doubt about it, if you can see from here, there was only a green Pentagon, and a few days there was also a few sell-off here. Every opportunity that the market goes up, it just goes through another heavy selling, which means the market is actually going in rather sideways market in here. Now, of course, the pending of the general election 15, which is still holding this market above the 1560. Now 1600 has become a resistance already, and let's check out what we have this morning in our market. Let's take a look at it this morning here. You can see on top me switching to a wider chart. We have the market right now is down 7 point to 1557, which is testing the old support that we have in here. Market is still range bound. Having said that, right, and range bound, making opportunity to run your profits becoming less and less. So this is more like buy when you have a couple of percentage points, take profit and then come back again. That is the kind of trade that you have to do. Buy at support, sell at resistance level in here. Now, if you have any question or stocks that you want me to look at, feel free to pencil those in here. But as I said before, learn how to sell, okay? You need to be selling some of your stock, just like we just have to cut loss on LSoft that we did before. Now, if you look at last week when the market was still healthy, this was the stock that we did in episode 173. Now, right now it's episode 174, and we have the market turning, buying at the green Pentagon on the opening prices in here. We would probably just gain a 5% from the about a week ago, all right, more than a week ago, 5%, which is good enough. If you can get 5%, take it and run it, and any chance of making a bigger gain in this kind of market is going to be good. Now, this is what we want to talk about: learn how to sell. Okay, so when you learn how to sell, you can see an upthrust, and the upthrust goes like this, and once you start to turn, you have this black bar here. This is the upthrust bar, and that's what we talk about in here. That's where you want to get out on the opening. Now, this is a discretion, okay? This is a discretion in here. No doubt he hasn't done red Pentagon yet, but if you see that this is something that you want to do on your own, that you're comfortable with it, you know how to read the chart, then by all means exit, on this case inside here, even before he hit the ATR stop loss. But once he hit the ATR stop loss, that's where you need to exit. Just like in here, when you break to ATR stop loss, you exited and you prevented this massive sell-off, because the market can actually turn into a rather down selling point. That's something we all need to learn. Now, 5% in here will probably give you around 250 ringgit in here for this kind of trade in here for a Kawang fruit. Again, not in the area of one of those sector that we see a major sell-off, which is the technology in here. Now, let's go on to the next stock that we talked previously on episode 173 in here, is learning how to sell. You could see on the green Pentagon, you have an upthrust, but this time this upthrust is not that prominent compared to what we see making a pivot in here. It did make up here. This was the high, and the market closes a bit lower than in here, but there was an upthrust, the market closed lower. It is also designated as an exit. That's right. You want to have two bar to confirm the upthrust should the market go lower. Now remember, every time when you see upthrust, we always want to look back to the left hand side where we have a double top. Now that's the same thing also happened on Kawan Food. When you have this double top, it is more significant. Now likelihood this market is like congest a sideways and see the next move where they can go out. So learning how to sell is important. Market overall is still weak as we depend on the overall market weakness, which is the KLCI in here. That's so let's look at some of the stage 2 shares where we have on the red Pentagon. Now keep in mind the KLCI is still red Pentagon, except for the hot sector that you see here, all right, on the chart. Right, let me just bring out this. Okay, and you could see from the overall market that we have here. Let's go to the hot sectors. That's the only one you can see. Energy, REITs, plantation, finance, and consumer are the only one that is hot. The rest is pretty much, of course, you can also click on the Bursa hot sectors in here. Pretty much everything is on the down. Technology, industrial product, healthcare, logistic, only consumer, energy, plantation are the one that is doing well. So this will give you an edge. Now let's take a look at the energy sector. Now remember, on the energy sector, we went on to the ST2. We probably want, because we want to trade for those stocks. If you are experienced, again, if you are experienced, you can take a look at some of these stage 2 shares, which is actually trending uptrend. But of course, if you are a beginner, I suggest you rather stay out. But there are some of these stocks that were in the uptrend too. You still can find something. Having said that, you can see what we like was in line with the energy sector, which is Charimin 5257. So you can hit that one, 5257, and you can see from the chart wise. Let me just bring up. It started to break upwards, right? Started to break upward on the line change in here, and this morning, and I believe it is still continuing to go up. Of course, the best time to enter will be at but if you are experienced, you want to trade in the shorter term, this is a good trade too, with the sectors are really hot. Now let's take a look at the live chart that we have on the stocks we are talking about here. Charimin. You can see Charimin here. Charimin Petroleum in here. You could see after breakout, and usually when you have this nice 8% move, you have this uptrust in here. And again, looking back on the left hand side, we have seen the market already break up to the green above the zero in here, now moving up to the green area in here. But remember, when you see climatic volume that you see, usually the market will move back just like what we see here. 1, 2, 3, move back, and this is likely to pull back too. Okay, it's going to pull back. So this is one stock you want to be watching it in here. The other stocks that we have is Petron, which is just now that stock I've just brought up here. You can see Petron in here, P-E-R-T-R-O-N. Okay, Petron has moved up a lot more already, and this market right now is almost up 40%, again in line with the better energy prices in here. This one is actually a bit too high. Okay, a bit too high. It can pull back, but if you do find a good entry on the pullback, that is something that you want to do. But this one has moved up 40%. This one you can see from the low is about 34% in here. Took out this. The point is when you're able to take out the old resistance in here. Again, here we are looking for entry early on. Anything that you see red Pentagon in here, you could see we could have gotten now break through the ATR stop loss. You could have avoided this massive big drop, 80 cent right to 60 cent, and more probably come in around this area in here. Remember, right now when you see the KLCI, it's sort of in the red Pentagon. Many of the red Pentagon may have difficulty in rising higher. Just keep note of that. There are some other stocks which did break out a bit higher. If you look from the let's go back to the main menu from the SMARTRobie in here. You could see the ST2, and you can see from here Falco was Pentagon 93% in here. That's one has gone a bit high. Most of this has already gone up to 90% here, 94, 92, 91. So if you can switch on to the VSA 360, look for some, and remember most of these stage 2 shares, which is actually trending up. You can see, right, this is actually trending up, and you have the Falco did had a big jump, and I couldn't get hold of what was the story behind it, which is actually a crane operator. Finally, it came in, and this was a big jump, that 20% jump from here. You could see holding up at 240, jumping up suddenly at $3, 22%, and then followed by a 3% jump. Must be on good news of some buying that's going on in here. So usually you get this kind of stocks, but if you were in at the green Pentagon, maybe it's time to take some profit. I would do that if I were you, and just move on other stocks that you see in here. Okay, so those are some of the trade idea that we have. There are better ones also, but I haven't got time to go into that part yet. So bear in mind, what we're trying to do is a short lesson for our beginner is wait for the green Pentagon to come out. If it's a red to sell, then stay out. Beginners practice, learn to take small profit at the start, right? If you can get 5% like the Kawan food, take it, and you want to be able to take this on a consistent basis, then you're able to move your trade much better. Now follow the smart money, follow the green Pentagon or the red Pentagon. That should put you in a better position in here. So if you're a beginner right now, the red Pentagon is out, so you want to stay out, and that's what we're trying to do in here. Wait for the green Pentagon. Always wait for volume confirmation in here. Trade with the trend. Now remember, overall the trend is still on the downside in here. Take small profits. And for those of you who wanted to give us a trial on Pentagon Guider VSA 360 with a very high win rates, that's a QR code in here that you can submit, and also perhaps have it coached by our senior trainer in here to use it for 10 days worth 288 ringgit in here. Check it out. And by all means, and also those who would like to sign up for our masterclass, we have one coming up very, very soon, which is our May intake, and one of the so-called bonus is the coach, trading psychology coach, which is Dr. Gary Yaton will be with us for the next 3 months if you sign up for this course in here, usually at 588. I think, yes, it's up to May already, so we are back to the old price, but we do feel that this course will likely to transform you to a very seasonal trader with renewable goals in here. I think this is something you want to consider for those of you in here. And right now, we are up to this area here of doing our stock pick. Now, if you have our stock review, if you have any stocks that you want me to review, go ahead. I'll be happy to do so. But remember, overall, the market is still really struggling and sluggish to really overcome anything in here. All right. Most of the stocks, I believe you probably have to cut loss. Having said that, that's the truth of in the market in here. If not, do let us know how else we can help you in here. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel in here for all information. And if I don't get any, that's all we have. And do join us in our Telegram chat room for all our stock market in here. And we'll be back this Wednesday for our live FB in here with another guest speaker, which is actually one of the runner-up of our stock market challenge that we did, which is the Turtle Trader. So join us then on this Wednesday, 9:30. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.